Big Sills. Appreciate all coming aboard as you do each and every single day. Thank you so much. Tell you right off the top of the program, Ice Cube, 5:30 Eastern time. He will step in with us and we'll talk a little sports with him. You know he's a big Laker fan, Raider fan, sports fan. And we will talk to our friend Ice Cube at 5:30 Eastern time. We look forward to doing that. And we look forward to you jumping aboard with us here. I'm going to start out by doing this, okay? And I'm going to say this to you right away. I have never in my entire life ever seen a professional football team cry more than what I'm seeing with the 49ers. These guys now will officially be dubbed the 40 Whiners. Holy cow. First you have Dumbo Samuel. Hey, we only played with 10 guys versus 11. I was just telling Tone. Dude, it's called a football game. Your quarterback was taken out by a football play. He wasn't taken out by COVID. He wasn't taken out by a tragedy in the family. Hassan Reddick broke your quarterback's chicken wing. It's a football play. It's called hitting, tackling, catching, throwing. I can't believe the 40 Whiners are who they are now. That's a proud organization, dude. Stop moaning. Dumbo Samuel's crying now. Kyle Shanahan. You know what he's saying? So Kyle Shanahan came out because the schedule's going to be released tonight, right? And his comment is, hey, I'm really glad that we're not playing the Eagles early in the season. I want to be able to play them when we have all of our players on the field. I guess we're playing early December 3rd, something like that, right? So, bro, are you under some guys, you're a better football team and you were a better football team than Philadelphia? He surely thinks it. Look, I'm not saying that game wouldn't have been a different ball game if Brock Purdy and your starting quarterback didn't get knocked out. I'm not saying that, but Jesus criminy, dude. It happens in ball games. This is sports. People get hurt. That's the beautiful thing about sports compared to politics. I tell you guys this shit all the time. You see, in politics, you can move the yardsticks. In sports, you can't. It's scoreboard. Scoreboards can't be moved. You either win or you lose. How many times did we go over the last 8 years talking about who won an election? One party says the guy in 16 didn't win. The next party says in 2020, that guy didn't win. See, you can move the sticks in politics. The greatest thing in sports, you can't move the sticks. You either win or lose. No matter what it is, and it aggravates people. That's why people are attracted to sports and sports athletes and celebrities. It's a winner and loser. It's really the only avenue that you can really still go and say, there's a winner and loser. Deal with the consequences. You can cry all you want, 40 Whiners. And by the way, man, got great respect for the DeBartolo family. Not so much the York side of it. But the DeBartolo family, you know I know Eddie D. 55 today. What a great day for the schedule. Green blood. You got the toughest schedule, though, in the NFL. The 40 Whiners are moaning. Now the head coach is making excuses for his own failure. That's all Kyle Shanahan's doing, you know. When you don't win, join him. You know, he's got to cover the fact that in big games, he sucks. What big game outside of the NFC Championship game has he won where he was a major factor? I think Kyle Shanahan's the most overrated coach in the National Football League. I think he gets a lot of hype for just putting his name on the test. I do, man. I do. Let me just put it to you this way. And I'll say this, And you know what? Some of you may not like it. If that was a black coach, he'd be fired. If Kyle Shanahan was black, he'd be fired. He'd be fired. You know what for? Not getting it done. Not getting it done. How many times have we seen that? Dude, I mean, and because his last name is Shanahan, he's part of that Manning royalty thing in the NFL of nepotism. Kyle Shanahan. Hey, by the way, I think Kyle Shanahan's a good coach. He's not what people are making him out to be. What, because he can use Deebo Samuel in jet sweeps? He's a great coach? This just in, Kyle. Protect your quarterback. It's the most important player on the field, not your dumbass wideout. Protect your quarterback. Oh, you see what he does with Christian McCaffrey and his wide receiver? I don't care. Protect your quarterback, dude. Give me a break. I mean, dude, you know me, man. I don't sit here, and I'm not much to give a lot of praise unless it's warranted. You know me, man. Shit, I rip the Miami Hurricanes more than I rip any program or any sports entity since I've been on the air for over 30 years. You know why? I got a great passion for it. I love the program. You know me, I go back and forth on the Eagles. It's because I cover them and the NFL and really all sports. Okay? Jesus, criminy. Shanahan didn't even say anything bad. Why are you so damn? Because he's making an innuendo, Niner, that, hey, we're not going to be able to play with Purdy in the beginning of the season, and I want my team at full strength. Stop moaning. And you know what? Who cares? How many times have you seen teams go into a place? You know what's funny? You know how people have been ripping the Lakers and the Heat when they played in the Orlando bubble? Isn't it funny that both those teams may make it back to the NBA Finals? And everybody gave an excuse for the Lakers and calling it like an asterisk NBA for LeBron. Those teams may end up getting back to the finals. Everyone makes excuses for shit. Scoreboard. Scoreboard. Well, hey, I want all my guys on the field. Dude, your guy's overrated. How about this, man? I'll give you this. He's a good coach. You don't think – let me ask anybody outside of Eagle fans, how many people think that Kyle Shanahan's overhyped? Let's take a look at this. Hey, Niners, let me think about the coaches in the NFL right now better than that dude. Sean McVay's better than that dude. Belichick's better. Reed's better. Shit, Sirianni's got the same resume that Kyle Shanahan does. Actually, what's Kyle Shanahan done more than Nick Sirianni? Sean Payton's better. Mike McCarthy's better. Mike McCarthy's got a better resume than Kyle Shanahan does. I mean, give me a break, man. Guy's overhyped. 28-3. Put that one on your resume. Here's Kyle Shanahan's resume. Moaning, crying, 40 whiners, 28-3, and getting your quarterbacks killed. It's quite a litmus of great tests that you failed. Hey, if you're a quarterback, no wonder Tom Brady doesn't want to go to San Francisco. Kyle Shanahan might put him in traction. Pete Carroll's better. Shit, I named 10 coaches, man, right off the top of my head that are better than that overhyped dude. Holy cow. And on top of that, you shit the bed on Trey Lance. Trey Lance. There's a better chance that Trey Lance could be in a decathlon in the next Olympics than be the starting quarterback in 5 years in San Francisco. You know, Sills, he's a great athlete. Okay. I don't know what that has to. You think Tom Brady's a great athlete? I don't. You think Peyton Manning's a great athlete? I don't. How about being a great quarterback? Come on, man. Trey Lance sucks. I used to tell chicks this back in the day. There's not one redeeming quality about Trey Lance I dig. Not one redeeming quality about that dude I dig. Not one. I have not seen one. Oh, he's fast. Okay, great. Since when does that matter? Ew, give me a break. Oh, my God. The crying, man. I mean, seriously, I see a crying meme coming for Kyle Shanahan. You know, I can't believe we got beat by the Eagles and we played with 10 guys. Like, Jesus criminy. This guy needs a bib. He wears that flat brim really great. Kyle Shanahan. But the next time I see Kyle Shanahan on the sidelines, someone should get him a bib. Or a Wookiee. Get him a binky. That's the next thing for Kyle Shanahan. Instead of the mouthpiece, just have a binky going in. Worrying about his quarterback getting killed. Dude, seriously. I'm going to send that guy in December for the holidays a box of binkies. Him and Dumbo Samuel could sit there and suck on the binkies. Where's Hassan Reddick? Come on, man. Weiner guy goes, Philly guy soft? Dude, you've been crying since December. Reddick. Hassan Reddick. Man. Seriously, dog. You guys need to get it should be Binky night down in Santa Clarita or Santa Clara. It should be Binky night. When the Eagles play the Niners, it should be Binky night. Just pass out a bunch of binkies at Lincoln Financial. Have 40 whiners written on them. Hey, guess what? We have a great promotion tonight. It's Binky night. Why is it Binky night, Sills? So the 49er fans that do show up could suck on these things after they got killed in the NFC title game. A fluke loss. I don't know, dude. I try to defend you guys, and I say they did a nice job defensively for as long as they could. But the Eagle fan does throw this back at even Big Sills. 31-8, dude. I don't know, man. In my book, that's not close. 31-8. I don't know. That's kind of not close. Binky night. Binky night at Lincoln Financial. You get a free bink and you get a bib if you're a Niner fan. And then what they do is they sit you in the corner so you can sit there and cry and moan about your overhyped coach. Come on, Kyle. I'm rooting for you. You get Binky night. Don't give him that much. And then get this, Eagle fan gets Hassan Reddick night. You know what they get? They get a free 6 of wings. They're called the Purdy wing. That's a Purdy boy over there you got quarterbacking for the Niners. And here's a box of Purdy wings. How come I'm getting a box of Purdy wings? Because that's what Reddick did to his arm. It turned into a chicken wing, extra spicy. Holy cow, man. How much crying can you do? Lemon Purdy wings? I like it. I like lemon on a lot of shit. Yeah, I do. I like it. I'm in. Put a little lemon, and I got to eat it with a harness, though, I got to eat it with a harness, You got to eat it with your left hand because your right hand's gone. Oh, wait, the guy put him back in too. Yeah. Hey, really looking out for his player. Extra spicy? I don't know. Might be extra dull. Hey, seriously, Binky night at Lincoln Financial. It's a special night we have going on in Philly. All 49er fans that show up get a free Binky and a bib. And then you get to cry all night. Hey, man, you lost the NFC title game. Am I? It's Jesus criminy, man. It's Moaner's night. And I mean in a bad way. Thank you. Oh, man. Don't come to Philly, Sills. Really? What's going to happen? Seriously. Really? Do I look like that guy? Come on, Nina. Are you crying? Niner, are you crying now too? Holy cow. Wait, I've heard his feelings. Man, Niner. Man, Niner, man. I tell you, I'm devastated that I hurt your feelings. I'm devastated that I've hurt your feelings. Okay, sorry, man. I just oh, come on, man. I'm sorry. It's all right, Niner, man. Hey, look, see, Niner, if you got to try to fight me because your team got their ass kicked in an NFC title game and your quarterback got his arm broken like a chicken wing, you should take it out on your coach, not me. You should take it out on the guy who got him killed and can't start the season for you. You see, that's what fans like to do to Big Sills. They like to take shit out on me. Your coach is the one that got your quarterback killed, not me. Who'd he put like a 5'9", 128-pound running back on him? Reddick ran around him, hit that guy. Last thing you know, there was Purdy right this. He was in a sling. Holy cow, man. Like this guy fell off a bridge. Oh, man. I'm sorry. Hey, wait. I'm sorry if your feelings got hurt. I'm sorry. Hey, I want to throw some love out. Let me change gears. These guys, that's all you get today, Niner guy. By the way, you're not the biggest threat to the Eagles. You're not the biggest threat. I've come to this conclusion, and I've got facts to prove it. You're not the biggest threat. You're not. Shit, you got to worry about getting out of the NFC East first. 49er guy, you're not the biggest threat to the Eagles. You're not. You're just not. Because I can always count on Kyle Shanahan to fuck something up. I can always count on him. So I'm not really concerned about him. I'll tell you who is here in a minute. I do want to switch gears. And I do want to throw this out to Keith Jones, my boy. I'm going to try to get him on tomorrow, too. He's been named the new president of the Philadelphia Flyers. I don't know what that means for Torts. I don't know if I could see Keith Jones. I know Keith and him are boys. But I want to throw some love out to Keith because Keith is a lifetime NHL guy. Worked with NBC forever. And I love the man. I've been friends with him for over 30 years. I can't wait to get him on the program and get his thoughts on what he's going to do with the Flyers and hopefully turn that bad puppy back around again. Because, again, you know where Flyer fans are right now? They're unfortunately showing up at Sixer games. Begrudgingly. You understand what's happened to the Flyer fans. You know what's happened to Flyer fans? They have to show up at Philly Eagle and Sixer games because they can't stomach what's going on the ice. See, hockey fans are different. They're not going to support shit. They're not going to support shit. They support effort, passion, respect for the sweater. Okay? That's what they respect. They respect that. And you haven't been getting that. You have not been getting that since Ed died. Damn shame. It's one of the legendary franchises that I've come accustomed to love. You know what my favorite franchises are in NHL history? Islanders, Bolts, and Flyers. I hate the Rangers. I kind of like the Bruins a little bit because Bobby Orr's my friend. Okay, but other than, I kind of like the Kings. The Kings follow me on Twitter. I liked when Dean Lombardi ran the organization there. So I mean, I kind of like. There's some other ones I like. I like Edmonton. Okay, I like Edmonton. Edmonton built a great franchise. Still brings a great bunch of great players to their minor league system, and they do a great job. Caps, my wife and my daughter have been to more Capital games than any hockey game. Well, my wife's been probably more Bolts games. Okay, probably more Bolts games. But congratulations to Keith on being named the president of the organization. I think the GM is Daniel Briere. Is that right? I can't wait to see how it all plays out, and what Torch's role is going to be, if there's going to be a change even at the head coaching position. Torch is a no bullshit guy. Wears his welcome out quick. I love the guy. I do. I love the guy. I love John Tortorella. We've been friends a long time, and we'll see how that whole thing plays out. So we appreciate it. Hey, guys, please do me a favor. Hit the like button. How about the opening game on Thursday night? So the schedule's going to be released tonight. Chiefs and Lions in the opener. How weird of a game is that? What is the compelling component to that? Chiefs and Lions Thursday night on NBC. What's the compelling storyline to that? The resurgence of Jared Goff? The banner falling? The Lions, an up-and-coming team? Why would you put a team like the Lions in a primetime spot like that? It's weird that they would do something like that. So the Lions are going to be on Thursday night, opening day of the season. And of course, because of that relationship they have with Turkey Day, you're going to get them in two of the biggest days outside of the Super Bowl and the playoffs on the NFL schedule. The Lions are going to be on Thanksgiving Day, which they always are with the Cowboys. And they're going to be on opening day, Thursday night, to open up versus the Chiefs. Man, I don't get that. I think the Chiefs blow them out. Why would you want to start with a game like that? Chiefs are going to be hyped, psyched, ready to rock. Then you got like the knee eater or the knee chewer and Dan Campbell. Hey, look, by the way, I think the Lions have made a lot of great moves. Just weird on how that really is. Lions and Chiefs, that's what's being leaked out. NFL smart in how they do their business. I love how they do their business. You know, they control sports in so many ways, and they definitely control the media. No doubt about it. All right. I'm going to do something here. We got a couple topics we're going to hit on. Don't forget, like I said, Ice Cube at 5:30 Eastern time. He's going to join us. Am I right when I say the Dallas Cowboys are the biggest threat to the Eagles this year in the NFC? We kind of broached this topic yesterday. We're going to talk some Cowboys. I don't think it's the 49ers. 49ers have to figure out they've got to figure out their quarterback before you could start to tell me that you're going to win a ball game versus the Eagles, especially at Lincoln Financial. I think it's the Cowboys. Here's why. How many people here think that Dak Prescott is better than Jalen Hurts as a quarterback? How many people think that Dak is a better quarterback? Cowboys and Seahawks, Quan? Sileo, do you think the NFL is making shady decisions with the schedule? Putting Cowboys, Niners week 5, then Eagles, Niners week 13. Oh, they're telling a story. I think you can set the table with that schedule they have coming up. Hell no. No doubt. F no. I think it's the Eagles and themselves. Okay. Dak is back. I'm going to give you a comment here, and I'm going to show you something why. What you guys are saying in Philadelphia, Dak is... Okay, wait. Let me throw this at you here before you start saying that Jalen Hurts is better than Dak. And Dak Prescott is not anyone to worry about here. Let's take a look at that. Because you see, unlike Jalen, there's actually a resume here. There's a resume for Prescott. Let's start with this one. Do you know since December 31st, 2017, Dak Prescott 7-1 versus the Eagles? He's 7-1. Do you know that Dak Prescott overall is 8-3 versus the Cowboys? He's averaged against the Philadelphia Eagles 33 attempts, 22 completions, 251 yards, 68% completion percentage, 99 QBR, averages 5 touchdowns a game versus the Eagles with 2 picks. Here's the total numbers. It's incredible. 357 attempts, 241 completions, almost 3,000 passing yards in 11 games, 20 touchdowns, and 8 picks. He's got 20 touchdowns. 20 touchdowns in 11 ball games versus the Eagles. 2018, he went for 455. Last year, he was 78% completion percentage against the so-called Jonathan Gannon number 2 ranked defense. And he had 5 touchdowns. It was his best game of the year. Amari Cooper wasn't on that team, Sway, last year. And he had 5 touchdowns last year. 5 TD passes. And he went for almost 80% completion percentage against the Eagles. With all that talent you had. Remember, Dak doesn't play against Jalen. He plays against your defense. And he owned you. He's owned you. CJ Gardner, you really think would have made a difference in a football game that he has pretty much owned? He's owned you. You got to beat Prescott, not the Niners. And I'll tell you why, again. The better team in the Super Bowl was the Eagles. The better quarterback was Mahomes. The 49ers have the better team. The Cowboys have the better quarterback. And another component. So you think that Nick Sirianni's a better coach than Mike McCarthy? Do you? Mike McCarthy's actually won a Super Bowl. Actually won a ton of games in the postseason. So before you start saying that Nick Sirianni doesn't have the resume McCarthy does, as much as you want to call him a joke, he's got the same record as Sean Payton does. Do you know that? He's got the same postseason record that Sean Payton does. And I could make the argument, well, McCarthy had Aaron Rodgers. Well, Payton had Drew Brees. Nick is better. Nick hasn't proven that. You could say Nick all you want. That's an opinion that's not factual. That's just a passion you have. Nick's not better. Nick's not done more than him. Okay? And by the way, quarterbacks make you over or underrated. Ask Bill Belichick that. Okay? Ask Belichick that. We're going to find out what Matt LaFleur is made of, aren't we? In Green Bay this year? I think that guy is not as good as his record is. That's my opinion. I'll tell you this. Matt LaFleur, the head coach of the Green Bay Packers, he wins that division. I'll have more respect for him this year, after this year, with what he did with Jordan Love, what he did in that division, than he did when he had Aaron Rodgers and they were winning the ability to have home field advantage at Lambeau. I'll have more respect for him. Okay? We'll find out with Jordan Love what he does with him. Okay? We'll find out. Big Sills McCarthy with 15 years. Absolutely, Jeremiah. Jeremiah goes, Big Sills with 15 years of Rodgers and 1 Super Bowl. That's a travesty. Tony Dungy with 1 Super Bowl with the years he had in Indianapolis. Is that also a tragedy and travesty? Sean Payton 1 Super Bowl with all those years in New Orleans. Is that a tragedy? Is that a tragedy? Sean Payton had a shitload of years in New Orleans with Breeze. Is that a tragedy? Okay, well, we're talking about Sean Payton be considered one of the best coaches in the NFL, and he's got the same resume the guy in Dallas has. Look, I'm not telling you that I think Mike McCarthy's some superstar coach. But let's not look at one. See how we look at certain guys differently here? This is crazy. You look at certain guys differently. You see, because McCarthy's in Dallas now. Okay? Oh, well, if he's overrated, so is Sean Payton. So is he overrated. Okay? So before we start, there's very few coaches with spectacular I've told you guys this before. There's very few people that have had, and by the way, Yale goes, they haven't won in Dallas. Who has? I think actually Mike McCarthy has done a hell of a job managing Jerry Jones and not getting himself fired. I think it's impossible to win in Dallas. I think it's completely impossible to win in Dallas if you're a head coach, as long as Jerry Jones is alive. I think it's impossible. I don't care if you put Bill Belichick in there. I don't care if you put one of the greatest coaches in the history of the NFL in there. I don't think you're going to win as long as Jerry Jones is the owner of that football team. You're not. He wants the credit. Anytime the owner is the face of the franchise, you got a problem with your organization. Jerry gets in the way of the success of the team. How can a guy be the owner of the team, be ahead of personnel, be ahead of game planning, be ahead of hiring the coaches, be ahead of the buying of jocks and socks? How can he be all those things and be great at one thing? Jerry is a fabulous marketer. He is a Hall of Fame type owner, except on the field. That's the difference between him and Bob Kraft and really Jeffrey Lurie. Those guys get out of their way of their football people. I'd hate to work for a guy like Jerry because he'd be coming in looking over my shoulder telling me how to do my job. And all you have to do is look at him and go, why'd you hire me? That's the kind of guy you say that to. Why's this guy hiring me then? What's the point of hiring me? He wants to do it all. And like I told you, Jerry Jones has not been able to replace one person. That's Jimmy. He did all the players. He did the GMs. He did all the coaches. He did everything. He drafted, hired assistants, and it's never been the same result. Why? That's the one thing about Howie you can say. Look at what Jeffrey Lurie and look what Howie Roseman have done. They've replaced Andy. They've replaced Chip. They've replaced Doug. They landed on Nick. Jerry hasn't been right since the late 90s. He hasn't been right since the late 90s. Replaced the look at this. So you replaced Aikman, Romo. You're on Dak. Where are you going? But the one thing the Cowboys do is beat Philly. Prescott is the best thing to ever happen to Jerry Jones and the Cowboys. You know why? He's got a lot. Last year, I get it. The 15 picks, unbelievable. There is no way, in my opinion, Dak's going to have that kind of year again. No way. I think he's going to be smart, protect the ball, and he's going to have a turnaround year and a great year in Dallas. Dallas is the team you got to worry about if you're Philly. Because you know why? They know how to beat you, and they have. And they do. San Francisco moans and whines, and they spent the entire offseason moaning and whining about how they got robbed from the NFC title game. The Cowboys, if they would have got past San Francisco, I'd like to have seen that NFC title game at Lincoln Financial. Do I think the Eagles would have won? Probably. But not definitely. Okay? True's going off of one season, and yet I gave you a list of him killing your team. Even last year, he killed your team. As bad as Dak was last year, had his best game against you. And as a matter of fact, he's always had his best game against you. So when you keep saying that, he kills you. Here's the record. You're trying to dispute a resume that he's built against you. How can you dispute that? You can't. He's 8-3. Since 2017, he's 7-1. He threw for 5 touchdowns against your so-called number 2 defense last year. Completely kicked your ass, 78% completion percentage. You make it sound like this guy walks into Philly and you go into Arlington and you beat the piss out of them. That's not the case. You actually haven't beaten them since 19. Pump the brakes on that. Well, Jalen's better. Jalen's had 1 year of great ball with one significant win. 2. The Giants in the playoffs and the 49ers in the NFC title game. Those are significant wins. Don't dismiss them. Even though he didn't play great in them, they're still on his resume. He won a division game in the playoffs, and he won the NFC title. I put a lot of stock in that. Dak has 0 what? Dak has 0 what? You can't beat him. You're making it sound like you beat Prescott on a daily basis. This is not Daniel Jones. Stop lying. You're lying to yourself. Dak, if you think about it, his overall resume is built on beating Philly. Facts. Not opinion. Facts. His resume, Jalen's nowhere in his conversation when it comes to playing head-to-head. He's not. Team stats are so skewed. Okay, well then that applies to Jalen then too, dude. Then that applies to Jalen. Can't you? That applies to Jalen too. You can't have one-sided arguments using the intel against Dak and not use it against your own guy. Team stats are skewed? Okay. You take that away. Jalen had a pretty good year throwing the ball. I wouldn't say sensational. What was he, 11th, 10th in throwing the ball this year? Like I told you, Geno had a better year throwing the ball. To Tone's point, technically, Geno had a better year. So if you want to take team stats away, Geno had a better year than Jalen Hurts did throwing the ball. Those are facts. Higher completion, more yards, more completions, more touchdowns. I think he had a few more interceptions. That's it. Rest of it, he completely outplayed him. So if you're going to use that argument, team stats, well, you got to apply that to Jalen too. Okay? We've been to 2 Super Bowls. I'm talking about you have to beat him. And your quarterback hasn't. I didn't say that. Throwing the ball is one-dimensional of Jalen's game. And that's how I quantified what I just said, too, KO. I made sure I quantified it that way. He had a better year throwing the ball than Hurts. He did. What's Dak's playoff record? What's Jalen's? 3-2? Okay. Flip-flop. What am I flip-flopping on? By the way, I asked you if you thought that Dak Prescott was better than Jalen. I didn't say he was. I said he had a better resume. Those are facts. We're having a discussion again. Boy, I'll tell you something, man. Some of you folks are just like my family. You sit down at the dinner table, facts don't matter. Hollering and screaming matter. Okay, whoever's the loudest wins the argument? Is that how we're doing this now? I never said in this discussion that I thought Dak was better. He's outplayed. In his time in the NFL, he's made a career out of beating Philly. That's what I've said. How many years, Sills? I don't know. How many years has he been in the league? 8? Is that now? Is 8 years now? I think something like that. I never said he's better. I said he's performed better. Dude, he was electric last year against the Eagles. That thing wasn't close, really. Prescott was sensational. Facts you would take. I never said that. I said that Dak Prescott has made a career out of beating you. That's not an opinion. That's not an opinion. That's not an opinion. I'm not giving you an opinion. I'm not giving you this is not an opinion. This is not an opinion. Here. Since 2017, he's 7-1 against Philly. He's 8-3 overall against Philly. He's 68% completion percentage against you, no matter who the coordinator is. He threw 5 touchdowns last year against your number 2 defense. And he's thrown for almost 3,000 yards in 11 games. I don't know. And 20 touchdowns. That's not an opinion. I didn't say great career. I said he's great against you. My point. Wow. Man, I tell you what, you guys have been given a bunch of bullshit over the years on how people talk to you because they don't tell you the facts. I have not given you one freaking opinion here except that the Cowboys are the team to beat because that quarterback beats your ass every time he's on the field against you. Underline, no other way to look at it. You can look at it any way you want. He kills you. You can't stop him. You have, or wait, you haven't, because that's an opinion. You can't stop him. You haven't. Jameson, no. I'm not saying you, man. I look. I'm just saying you've got to take. I'm making the point that the Niner guys think that they're the team to beat. They're not. The Super Bowl proved the point to me. I don't know, Tone, if you buy into what I'm saying too. See, look at how Vet changes the narrative here. He played against Gardner Minshew. He beat Gardner Minshew, yes or no? Yes. And Jalen beat Cooper Rush, yes or no? Jalen beat Cooper Rush, yes or no? Yes or no? So you want to use that? Let me go here. Did you beat Cooper Rush? Guy's been cut 3 times? I mean, okay. Your point is not valid. Jalen beat Cooper Rush. Congratulations. I'm talking Prescott. I'm not talking about the Eagles going to the Super Bowl. I'm talking about the number one opponent for Philadelphia this year are the Dallas Cowboys and not the 49ers. The 49ers have to figure the quarterback out. Don't you get it? Dak beat Minshew. Jalen beat Rush. Barely. They had to go into the fourth quarter to beat him. They pulled away in the fourth. Dak threw for 500. Dak threw for 5 touchdowns. Yes, your point isn't. I didn't tell you. My point's not valid that what this guy has done against the Philadelphia Eagles makes them the team to beat in the NFC. When here is what he's done. That was what Vet says. What Dak Prescott has done against the Cowboys. Vet says this is not a point. He's 8-3. He's 7-1 since 2017, and that's not the point. Okay. Then what is? How is that not a point? When he completes footballs at almost 70% against you. Threw for 5 TDs against your number 2 ranked defense. How's that not a foul? How's that not a point? How's that not the point? Whether Eagle fans want to accept it or not, Prescott plays his best football against the Eagles and wins. It's not an opinion. It's a flat-out fact. And knowing that fact, if the Cowboys stand in the way of the Eagles' Super Bowl berth, the odds are not on our side. That's just the fact, not an opinion. That's Tone saying that. That is a correct take. Dak is the guy. Good quarterbacks are the problem against the Eagles' scheme. And I listened to Sean Desai. By the way, I love the fact he's a Connecticut kid. He's from Shelton, Connecticut, right up the street from where I'm from. I loved the whole thing. He was fabulous. On May 11th, let's not get ahead of ourselves. Press conferences were great on May 11th. You know, nobody's coordinated against anybody this coming weekend, so everybody's in a hunky-dory mood. It's all good. But again, Prescott and the Cowboys will always be the thorn in your shoe, not the Niners. That's why the Niners are moaning. If the Niners had Dak Prescott, you would have no chance to beat them. You would have no chance. You would have no chance. None. I'm going to look at the Cowboy roster here and depth chart here in a minute. And again, that's not that is an opinion. That is an opinion. But I'm going off the facts of what he's done against you. And he would have better talent in San Francisco than he does in Dallas. Stop. Why don't you stop him? Do me a favor, Eagle for Life. Well, you need to stop him, not me. Stop Dak. You can't. Dallas couldn't beat the Niners. That's not my point. That's not my point. My comment to you was, here's why the Dallas Cowboys are the team to beat and then the only team in the way of the Philadelphia Eagles is because that quarterback has put a resume against you. He's made a career against you. Like Tone just said, that's not an opinion. Now, the Cowboys can't get out of their own way. I just told you that. The owner gets in the way, except for the Eagles and Dak. You don't want to see the Cowboys in the NFC title game. Because as Tone said, the facts aren't on your side. Just like they weren't in the Super Bowl. You had the better O-line. You had the better receivers. You had the better running game. You had the better defense. You had the better corners. A lesser team beat you in the Super Bowl. How does that taste? That's why it's so disturbing they got beaten at Super Bowl 57. Because the lesser team beat you. The lesser team beat you because they had the better QB. I'm just concerned that the coordinator, Sean Desai, is going to run the same style of defense against Dak. Dak's going to eat your ass up again. Like he always has. Yeah, but Sway says, Gannon beat us, Sills. Well, I heard your general manager and your head football coach say that we're not going to deviate off the game plan on playing defense, and we're pretty much going to play the same style of defense we played a year ago. So you're going to plug a new coordinator in and not change any schematics on the team. You're going to go with the same system you had a year ago. That killed you with it. As a matter of fact, Dak has killed you the last 2 years in that system. You haven't beaten him in the last 2 years. He's actually put up career numbers. King Poodle goes, good luck with that cowgirl. No, you good luck. You're going to need it. How do you dismiss this? And what I'm saying when I'm showing you what the game... These are the guys who listen to the political news shows and see what they want to hear again. This is what's happened. This is like I'm telling you, like Tone's telling you, this is not an opinion. Dude, if you want to play the 49ers in the NFC title game. You want to play the Lions or Seattle. You got a better chance because this guy's owns you. Where is there an opinion on that? The lesser team beat you in Super Bowl 57. Cowboys have a lesser team than you, I think. Okay? I do. He still beats you. Why is the Eagles' schedule harder than Kansas City? That I don't know, Sue. So to get the job, the new DC had to run the old system and not have any say. The Matt Patricia stealing money. Again, Casey, I think he's been brought in to do the disguising on different fronts and such. Because that's what his forte was, working with Brian Flores up in New England for those years. I think those two guys were together 17 years in New England, Brian Flores and Matt Patricia, working with Belichick. And how many times did you see them using disguise coverages and disguise fronts? I think that's the key to that whole thing and why they brought. Look at Dan from the flip-flopping what? Flip-flopping what? I pointed a fact out to you, and he calls that flip-flopping what? Have I said anywhere in this discussion here that Dak's a better quarterback than Jalen Hurts? That's in your own freaking minds. I said he's had a better career than any other team he's played against, maybe outside of Washington, against the Eagles. And he performs at a high level against Philly. How's that flip-flopping? How is what I'm saying, of all the quarterbacks you'll play in the NFC, he's the one that gives you the most trouble? No, he's not, Sills. He's 8-3, and he's 7-1 in the last 8 ball games. No, he's not. Yes, he is. Slasher says, so what is your point? Dallas is the one team that's in your way, not San Francisco. San Francisco's not the second team you got to concern yourself with. San Francisco's got the second best roster. That's not going to beat you. This guy is, because he does. That's the point. Just like in the Super Bowl, the second best team won. The better quarterback won. Don't you see the correlation? And by the way, for the record, they got a Super Bowl head coach too. I thought your coaching staff was completely outcoached in the Super Bowl. I thought Spagnuolo and the offensive coaches got outcoached, especially in the second half. Will they have learned? Yes. Okay? I mean, look, I'm not saying you're not going to beat them. I'm not saying I don't know how you haven't put this in together here. The Dallas Cowboys are the team that I'm more concerned about than San Francisco. Offense put up 35 points and couldn't stop a damn thing in the second half. And you're right, and it wasn't good enough. The better team lost. How about that, Yale? The lesser team won the Super Bowl. Why? The better quarterback and head coach. Right? Yale's right. They put up 35 points, and the lesser team won. Little City goes, old news. I'm not talking about that, really. My point is the Wow. Common sense sometimes is at a minimum when I speak to you guys. It's not a rip. I'm trying to make a point to you. And on top of that, the Cowboys are a divisional foe. I wouldn't get ahead of myself by calling Dallas sorry, not good, having an off season. I wouldn't say any of that until you beat them. Dallas 12, Niners 19. 1 week later, Eagles 19, Niners 7. Why are we talking Dallas again? Because it's a point I'm making that I don't believe the Niners are the team to beat. The schedule's coming out tonight. That's why. It's topical. When you see your schedule, the Cowboys on your schedule, because you play them twice also, and you haven't beaten them. Unbelievable. Try to have a conversation with someone and you can't see the facts. No, wait. I'll take that back. You hate the facts. Again, remember what I told you? Most people in life would rather be lied to. And this is why you guys watch your favorite movies over and over and listen to your favorite songs, because it puts you in a good mood. A guy like me gives you straight stories and gives you sports talk to make you think about something. Have I said that I thought that the Dallas Cowboys were going to win the NFC East? No, I said that the Eagles were going to win it. Do I think the Eagles are going to get back to the NFC Championship game? As of March 13th, I didn't. Or May 13th, whatever it was. Now I do, because they've done a great job. Tone says Dallas may lack culture, which they do, and playoff credibility, which they do as of late. But at the end of the day, Dallas is really a good team, and they deserve respect because they're good enough to challenge the Eagles. They challenge them every year and beat them, especially the last two. That's the point we're making. The 49ers. How about this? Do you really trust the 49ers in an NFC title game to beat the Eagles more than you do the Cowboys? Here, let's do that. Before we get to the top of the hour, do you really think the Eagles, if they had to face the 49ers in the NFC title game versus a team that you've pretty much beaten, and you pretty much have the same personnel and the quarterback's different, you think the 49ers give you more of a threat than a team that consistently beats you? That's not an opinion either. What I'm telling you right there is, hey, last 2 years, you guys were like 1-1 against San Francisco, I think. Garoppolo beat you Sirianni's first year, I think. And you guys beat him in the NFC title game, right? Dak beats his team all the time. You think the 49ers are more of a threat than Dallas when Dallas and Dak beat you all the time? How do you rationalize that? Where are your wins to prove those numbers? Here, that's a better underlining statement. Where are your wins to solidify your point versus Dallas? Dude, it's not a rip, really. It's that it's more of a rip on San Francisco, if you think about it. San Francisco has a great roster, but they're not going to beat and win significant games until they get that quarterback thing figured out. The quarterback in the NFC, there's only one really that gives Philly issues. Is that an opinion? Who's the one? How about this? Who's the one quarterback that gives Philadelphia troubles in the NFC? Who's the one quarterback that's playing today that gives you the most trouble in the NFC? One guy. Dak Prescott. That's right, Tom. That's the only point we're making here. As much as San Francisco has built a hell of a roster, at the end of the day, this is going to come down to Dallas. Doesn't it? But you know what? Doesn't it always? Doesn't it always come down to Dallas? Don't forget, my friend Ice Cube, 5:30 Eastern time. As a matter of fact, we're going to look at the Cowboy roster and line it up against the Eagle roster. We're going to do that next. Hit the like button, hour number 2. Keep it here on the National